Hey, hello. Welcome to Göteborg Film Festival and TV Drama Vision. My name is Cia Edstro, and in my role as head of industry at the festival, I'm also in charge of the editorial programming for TV Drama Vision. And we are really happy to welcome you all for the first time to this really beautiful old opera house. I hope you will enjoy it. And focus in this year's program is, as always, storytelling, and we mix it with business and current trends. And there is a big increase in the number of Nordic series in development at the moment, and we hope to get some answers of what's in demand by tracking the Commissioner's wish list. And we will present a great lineup of quality keynote speakers, talks and showcases, and for the third consecutive years, the Nordic Film and TV Fund Prize. And there is also a lot of people in the industry that I would like to thank for sharing their knowledge. And well, now it's here again, and for putting up with me asking tons of questions. So you really create this program. And a special thank you to our advisory board, of course, and we'd also like to warmly thank our funders, Nordisk Film and TV Fund, Creative Europe Media, Region Västra Götaland, and Film i Väst. And without you, we wouldn't be here. And I have a new team working with me this year, and I would like you to meet Jenny here. She has stepped up and is now coordinating the whole program. So she's the hero, sitting there for 2 days. And after 7 fantastic years working with Andrea Reuter, I'm very happy to welcome Wendy Mitchell as the new moderator, whose brilliant work I have admired for many years. So I'm so happy that she's here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you. It's so exciting to be here. And it's such a magnificent space. I think we'll rise to the occasion that our talks will be befitting of the glory of the old opera house. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Nordic correspondent for Screen International. I'm also a Nordic delegate for San Sebastian International Film Festival. And I've done some moderating for Nordic Film Market, but I'm also a huge TV lover, so very happy to be here. And Cia and Jenny and the rest of their colleagues have put together such a great program. It's going to be a very inspiring 2 days. Just a sort of housekeeping announcement is that today we are going to wrap firmly at 5 p.m. because they have to do a turnover of the building to get, is it a screening afterwards? Yes, so the program I think originally said we would wrap at 5:10. We're going to keep it compact and wrap at 5, but don't worry, we're still going to hear everybody in their allotted time. Nobody's going to be cut short. So just keep that in mind. And just a housekeeping note for our speakers, we'll have you enter the stage from this direction, and Johanna is there to help you find the steps. And for those of you who have PowerPoints, we have the clicker. The famous clicker is on the table, which I'll help you find. So, yes, thank you. I think without further ado, we can welcome up Petri. So we have Petri Kemppinen, CEO of Nordisk Film and TV Fund. I think you all know him. Welcome, Petri.
Thank you.
So, of course, we're going to start by talking about the prize. The jury was deliberating late into the night. But Petri, maybe you can give us a little potted history of the prize and why it's important to recognize these writers.
Yes, basically, I mean, we are a fund that finances feature films, TV drama series, and documentaries. And the amount of funded TV drama has grown substantially during the last years. And actually, I have a number from last year. 47% of our funding for fiction went to TV drama. So there is a drastic increase, which is fine. But I mean, a few years ago, we started talking about it. What could we do more? What could we do, I mean, to enhance the TV drama? And the obvious solution was the writing, because that is the core of TV drama, maybe even more than in feature films. And that's why we developed this prize, and we talked together with Göteborg, and they were happy to take it on.
Great. And Cia, these are 6 great nominees, but how do you get to those 6? What's the process like of making tough decisions?
We're kind of a team at the festival. We watch a lot of series, around 30 this year. And we also have a great help of Leif Hauge at the Nordisk Film and TV Fund, who parallel watches the same series. And after we're done, in the end of November, we get together and we select the nominees. Yeah.
Great.
That's the process.
All right. And we should mention that the winner will be announced tonight.
Yeah, the winner will be announced tonight at Valand. I hope you will all be there. It's going to be a great dinner and award ceremony and party. There.
Wonderful. Let's meet our jury, I think. Thank you, Cia and Petri. I would like to welcome up the jury for this year, which is Alexander Karim, who is a Swedish actor and director known for Dying of the Light, Zero Dark 30, Tyrant, Real Humans, and you'll probably know him best from TV show The Lawyer, which was previously a nominee for this prize. Come through and take a seat. Yes. Who do we have next? I'm trying to see who's lined up next. It's Laura. We have Laura Birn, a Finnish actress you will all know from films like Purge, Void, A Walk Amongst the Tombstones, The Ones Below, The Birdcatcher, and of course from Netflix hit The Innocence. Welcome, Laura. Also on the jury is Christina Earling Birro, who is a journalist, an American by birth, living here, or not here, living in Stockholm, living here in Sweden. She has worked with and produced TV shows like Stina Dabrowski, Sen Kjol Medluk, and Skavlan. I forgot to mention I'm American. I'm going to butcher some names, but just bear with me. It's not out of disrespect. She also has her own excellent podcast called Pop Culture Confidential. So sign up for her podcast, Christina. And last but not least, we have Justin Judd, who's an Emmy Award-winning producer of shows like Red Dwarf, The Classic, and Englishman in New York. Justin, since 2011, has worked as a content consultant for Hulu, the big US streaming platform. And with them, he's worked on acquisitions like The Bridge and Midnight Sun. His other clients include Content Media, Q Media, Great Point Media, and Knee Vision. Welcome, Justin. So, what time did the deliberation finish? Can we... 11?
11:30. It's finished.
Okay.
Is it finished?
Is it? Okay. Obviously, we're not going to ask you about any of those specific shows. We don't want to ruin the surprise of who has won. But just overall, you know, in watching this group of shows, what was your impressions of the sort of mix of content being made in the Nordics? Strong?
Yeah, there was great variety, and I think we did have a very kind of passionate and sort of animated debate, and it was clear that there were some that had immediately stood out because of their ambition, really, and I think our kind of discussion was around that ambition and who executed that best without revealing the outcome of that process. So what I think the kind of most kind of it was a great choice to have, a difficult choice, because they were ambitious, and we were looking, I think, to reward creative ambition and people who were stretching beyond what I think people have come to think of as Nordic drama, which is the kind of Scandi-noir. I don't think there was an out-and-out Scandi-noir piece in there, but it was, and that was good, because in my view the kind of Scandi-noir kind of boom is over. I think every variant of that has now been done. I think the tastes have moved on somewhat, so it was kind of gratifying that we were given quite a wide range of subject matter, range of styles, different styles of storytelling, and above all there was this kind of creative ambition that made our job very, very difficult.
Okay, well done. I fear if we talk too much like this, we're going to slip up. So I'm going to move on to a slightly different angle. Christina, you cover a lot of American TV shows as well. I mean, can you see a sort of Scandi influence on some of those shows, maybe after the success of The Bridge and The Killing and Borgen?
Oh, of course. I think it was interesting. I was just talking to an American TV critic about 2019's new series, and she was saying that coming up, sort of post-Killing Eve, is this very ambiguous female protagonist that you don't love, you don't hate, you don't know her motivations, and there's a lot of that type of show coming in, that type of female protagonist, and that I think has a lot of history in Scandi noir and female characters and protagonists that have been there.
Yeah,
and
I mean, Sarah Lund was not a very sweet,
and
bland woman.
And not to, of course, to mention visually and all the, Scandinavians that are working, lots of directors on American TV series. I think you definitely can see it in the visual as well.
Yeah. I don't think a show like True Detective could have been made without the killing, without the bridge. I think it's the influence and the impact, global impact of those series, is evident in TV, certainly in British TV. And I think in American TV as well.
Great. And Alex and Laura, when you're choosing projects, you're also working across film, especially when you get a TV pilot script or something. What excites you? What has to grab you about a TV show for you to want to be involved?
Well, of course, is the themes, what it talks about, what's the character like. I've noticed the late years, the TV scripts are getting really super interesting. They have gotten already super interesting. At the moment, I notice when I get to read a TV script that is not kind of Scandi noir. It doesn't start with a young, naked body of a girl. Then I get excited that if there's something that a world that I have never seen or heard of before, so kind of something very personal. It doesn't need to be. Something that personal. Kind of feels like personal and maybe risky a little bit. Yeah,
and maybe a bit specifically about the Innocence. What drew you into that series? It's its own sort of contained world and interesting character.
Yeah, in that one I love the character. I love the community of the women who share secrets and kind of they have this, it talks about identity, it talks about who you are, do you really know who you are, who you want to be, and I love the little community of women who share the secrets and kind of they have knowledge that nobody else has, and yeah.
Great. And Alex, with you, when you read a script, especially a TV project, what does it need to have to get you on board?
It needs to have a part for me.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Take note, yes.
To me, it's because there's, like Laura said, there's so many great scripts and so many great TV projects out there right now. And so we read a lot of scripts all the time. And to be able to, for me to be able to know, like, if I like something right off the bat or if it's, because you never know what it's going to be, what the vision is. I wanted to have something important to say politically. It doesn't have to be about politics, but I wanted to push the envelope a little bit on the question of diversity, or is it like what does the world need this show? As a question that I ask myself a lot. Like, do we need another dead girl in the woods, or do we need, you know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't have to be anything big, revolutionary. It just needs to be something where I say, all right, so that's an idea that I haven't seen before. Yeah.
And with The Lawyer, which has been a huge success, and you're about to go into season 2 shooting, or they're writing that now. Why was that a show that grabbed you and this character you wanted to explore? Well,
for me, first of all, doing a part that's not it's not a macho kind of guy. It's not the guy with the muscles and not jumping over cars or shooting people. I like that. I like that character. Also, the fact of being an actor of color in Scandinavia. It's the first time a part of that sort of size has been given to an actor of color. So just on the basis of that, I felt, all right, so this is pushing the envelope. This is taking the next step.
And you don't know much about season 2 yet? You can't really tease us with plot lines, but is your character developing?
Yeah, I'm still alive. And I'm still a lawyer. No, but I honestly, I haven't read this script.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
We're looking forward to seeing whatever happens. Christina, with so much TV out there, how do you think audiences are navigating what to watch, and are they listening for tips from your podcast?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, I remember we've got the golden age from The Sopranos time and The Wire, and then there was, when John Landgraf talked about peak TV, what was that, 2014 or something, and everything, HBO and everything exploded. And then now we're heading into a new thing when Apple is coming with streaming and Disney is coming with streaming, and it's going to be, I think it's a lot of word of mouth. It's Twitter. It's what makes a cultural impact and uniqueness of voice. I mean, that's basically what I think all people should be. Pushing these unique voices forward and getting the hell out of their way so they can make good shows, and then people will find them.
And does social media have, you think, a big role in helping people decide?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, I was just a couple weeks ago, I started seeing all these articles on Twitter and everything. It's like, what is this Marie Kondo? I mean, people were just article after article. This will change your life, and so I watched it. Yeah. And I probably wouldn't have. It wouldn't have even been on my Netflix algorithm to find that. But, of course, when people start writing and saying that this is something, so it sparked some joy for me. Right?
Yes. For those who don't know, Marie Kondo is this tidying expert. Her show is called Tidying Up. It's on Netflix. The main takeaway, you can figure out how to fold your socks in a very specific way.
And this was like articles in, Wall Street Journal and
Guardian,
and suddenly it's like, this I have to see. So I mean, if you make an impact, people write about it, people will find it.
Yeah. Justin, from where you sit, Hulu, one of the big streaming platforms in the US, is not available in Europe yet.
Correct.
What do you think of this sort of streaming landscape, and is that changing audience behavior forever? It's already gone.
Yeah, no, I think it's changed, certainly in the UK. I don't know about here in Sweden or Scandinavia more generally. Younger audiences don't go to the TV, they go to their device and stream. There's the whole Netflix and chill phenomenon, whatever that is, but I suspect I'm too old. So I think that the technology has absolutely, has already changed viewing behaviours, and I think that has poses a big existential threat to traditional broadcasters. How are they going to respond to that? And I don't think they kind of know quite, other than launching their own streaming services, but then it's very difficult to go up against a global player. I mean, the advantage that we've always had at Hulu, or competitive advantage if you choose to look at it that way, is we've been US only, so we've been great partners with broadcasters from around the world, although I should say our appetite for foreign language programming is tiny, because we know it just doesn't deliver audiences for us. But certainly in terms of English language shows, we've been great partners. We worked a lot with the BBC. We're just about to do a show with Arte, I think. I'm not sure it's been announced, but maybe I've been indiscreet, that is partially foreign language, and that's by way of an experiment for us. So, comes a time that we go global, then I guess we join the race for great foreign language local shows, because obviously there are quotas that have to be fulfilled in that regard. Has streaming changed the TV world? Absolutely.
I think we're going to hear a lot more about that through the day. With Hulu, you mentioned, especially for you, just a very stereotypical Scandi noir wouldn't really work anymore. Especially from the Nordics, what would work for you? For the US audience, I guess, for now.
I think we were all, and we saw it early, and we made a bid for it for Scum.
Oh, yes.
Is that how we pronounced it, right?
Scum.
It was a show that we really wanted in its original language. We didn't get it because they withheld the sale of the rights for that, so that it could be remade, which it was by Facebook. So that was a show that sort of came out of nowhere, and I think surprised lots of people, but it felt very kind of on point for us. I'm trying to think of some foreign language shows that we picked up recently, and there aren't many, I have to say. I think the last one out of Scandinavia was Midnight Sun, and then more recently we've done a show called Bad Banks, which was mixed language, which we kind of liked because it was in a world that had been underrepresented on TV, the world of finance, and so that was kind of compelling. In terms of shows we would love, I personally would love to have seen on the service things like Babylon Berlin, Gomorrah. There's a great show from Alex Pena, who wrote Casa de Papel, called Embarcadero, which I think is still a possibility for us. So there are just great shows, and it would be great to have more of them, but our learning is that these foreign language shows, by and large, don't deliver huge audiences in our only territory at the moment, which is the US.
Okay. Well, maybe you'll see some teasers on stage that will excite you. We'll see. Laura and Alex, when working across film and TV, we mentioned it a little bit before, but do you? Obviously, I think you can reach more people. Just you can reach a bigger audience with a TV show in most cases. It depends on the level of the film, obviously. But Laura, with something like The Innocence, does that feel like a different step in your career because it's going out on Netflix and people can watch it in 120 countries? No.
Somehow, it hasn't affected my everyday life, and I kind of don't think about it that way. What I think more changes my career are the parts and the work that I do, how it kind of so, and maybe the I don't know actually how big The Innocence got, but it hasn't, there are not people like waiting outside the door like, Laura! Yeah. So it hasn't really, but of course it can give more opportunities because more people can see my work and more easily, and but not so far so like concrete.
Yeah. And just the idea that with a TV series you get to hopefully go a little bit deeper in a character, and just for both of you, what's appealing about that, sort of continuing with a character's journey maybe for longer time or a new series, that must be fulfilling as an actor?
I love it. I love the idea of growing, having a character grow with an audience. So from season 1 to season 2 or season 3, the writers obviously, they take in all the critique that they've gotten, all the, everything that's happened on social media is taken in and put into the script, obviously. I worked on this one show, Tyrant, where we started airing the episode 1 while we were still shooting. So we were shooting episode 6 out of 10. And social media, obviously, they started talking about different characters, and I love this character, don't like that character so much. and the writers actually killed off one of the characters, which is, it's the downside.
Not your character, I hear.
No, not my character. But that, and they just, people don't like this character, they removed that. But also they changed some of the characters, made them more likable, made them more, and it's sort of like, what I would say is the opposite of what art should be, is taking too much consideration to your audience and not just choosing a way to do it and just going with that, which you have in film, where it's like, this is my vision, this is what we're doing, it's done, here you go. I can't change it. But it's really interesting to see how something evolves over time with audience input and with sort of...
And also, I think it's an interesting collaboration with an actor and writer, if you can kind of go together, because actors love their characters. We stand behind them until the end. So if you can kind of create it with someone, and I think for a writer, it could be interesting that you have someone who really is interested and loves that character and is really interested to get them as far as possible. So I see that as an interesting possibility for collaboration.
And I think that might be more true in the TV world, you're right, because in the film world, a screenwriter could maybe submit a script and then have to let it go. Whereas in the TV world, the writers are working together while this whole season might be going on.
Yeah.
I thought I would just ask you all sort of, what excites you about the TV world today, and maybe give us an example of a show or two, not ones you were deliberating on, that you've really loved or been passionate about watching and spreading the word about. So anybody want to start with sort of what you think of TV right now? Is it really a boom?
Okay, well, I can't wait for Succession season 2. I think it's a masterpiece. In terms of Nordic, I'm really looking forward to Gösta, Lucas Moodysson's. I think that he's such a I mean, he has a vision. He has something, such a good eye on Swedes and Swedish culture. I'm really interested to see what he can do with this platform that he's been given. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Great.
The world being what it is today, I look for shows that have joy in them.
Yes.
Marie Kondo.
Yeah, I haven't got to Marie Kondo yet. So the show that I have found most purely enjoyable, but without, but there's some depth to it, is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon, which I would recommend to you all, which I think is just a fantastic show that elevates the spirits in these troubled times.
Laura, what have you been enjoying?
Well, I won't mention my yesterday's favorite since we don't want to argue anymore. They'll be fine. No, but as an woman actor, this is of course this is a super interesting time with the female characters that are getting so interesting. So one that I loved recently was Big Little Lies, and I'm really waiting forward to see the second season. And also, Escape at the Dunnemore is on my list. I love her, and I think it seems super interesting.
That's Patricia Arquette?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Good shows, Alex.
I've recently come up with an idea, because there's so much to watch, and to be able to filter through and know what not to watch among all the good things. I figured out that every time I click on a TV show or a movie, it's like casting a vote. For politics, and I don't want to cast a vote for something that doesn't have an element of diversity in it, which makes it really easy for me to pick shows, because about 70% just goes away then.
Yeah.
So I only have 30% left, but out of those 30%, there's so much good, and I've started watching Atlanta as of recent. I love that, and also I saw what's that show with Amy, Sharp Objects.
Sharp Objects.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two good ones. Well, we can't wait till tonight when you're unveiling the big winner, but thank you for your jury service. Thank you for chatting with us a bit more. Good luck with all your future projects, and thanks for some new shows tips we can all watch. So thank you, jury.
Thank you.